Insights with Terri Ep.152, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.152. Here's Terri.
Hi, everybody. This is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.152. Thank you for joining me on the journey of the week from January the 15th through January the 21st. We have a few things going astrologically that might bear looking at, so I'm going to just dive in here, try to keep it brief so I don't bore you to pieces. The sun sign is still in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn energy in the sun offers us the opportunity to be organized, to want to get rid of things. Perfect time for after Christmas when we've got new presents in maybe, or new things in, and we want to clear out some of the old, giving homes to the old stuff that maybe we're not using that somebody else would find a treasure. So it's an opportunity to fill up Value Village and help somebody else use the things that we aren't interested in anymore. Good time to pass it on. And then that sun sign moves into Aquarius on the 21st. Now that's significant because Pluto will also be transiting from Capricorn to, and that's a heavy planet. They don't do this type of movement in any, I guess, generational, so it takes a long time. And that'll be on the 22nd. So the Sun and Pluto will be in the same sign of Aquarius. And we have to look at what Aquarius means. Aquarius is freedom. Aquarius is independent. It's an energy field that really grows and thrives in thinking outside the box and taking the left instead of the right, or the right instead of the left. Just not going down the road that's traveled, but going down the road that's less traveled. So it offers us an opportunity to kind of search within and try to figure out, is there anything holding you back? Is there anything that you feel is dampening down some of your happy, or making you feel heavy, or just it bears looking at? What would you individually consider freedom? What would you individually consider to be independent? Now, independent is a funny word. I have a lot of people that come and consider themselves independent. And then I look at their lives, and that's not the impression that I get. So I'm going to give you an example. There was a person that shared how independent that this person was. But then I found, as the talking went on, that this person didn't pump their own gas. Their mate did. Didn't do any yard work, wouldn't clean up poop, wouldn't take care of mice, wouldn't travel out of the city. So then I started thinking, what does independence to people mean? Because it sure didn't mean that to me. I think of independence as a person that will face a fear, recognize it as a fear, not being stupid and not say I'm not afraid of things, but recognize it as a fear, jumping out of your comfort zone and trying something, even if it is a little risky, but being sensible about it, but tackling it. So my comfort, for instance, isn't in mechanical things. It's in livestock, maybe a bull that's miserable, a stallion that would like to take your head off, dogs that bite, that are, maybe 120, 150 pounds that want to take your head off. Now that's not fearful for me. I'm cautious. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for years. So it's not a terrible fear. Adrenaline's there, yes, heart's beating, but I'm careful and I know what I'm doing. But let me face pulling the hood up on the van, or trying to put the air in the tires and not let more out than I'm putting in, or discussing issues with my hydro box. That's fearful to me. So that's out of my comfort zone. So, but wanting to be independent, I have to learn about these things. I have to learn who to call if a problem arises, super handymans. So I think they're trying to get us to look at our lives this week maybe more than the week, because Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for a long, long time, and we've got about 3 weeks of Aquarius being in the sun sign. And we've just finished a retrograde, which made a look back, and then how do we move forward? And that's what they're trying to get across to us. How do we move forward as a species, as a human being, as a country called Canada, as. So we want to extrapolate that. So I would challenge you to spend this week and look at, what does freedom mean to you? What's holding you back? What's your fear? What is it that you're really and truly afraid of? And we all have fears. All of us have fears. I've noticed the level of anxiety in children and adults going way, way up. Could be that we're sensing the fear of people around us, which I notice that with animals. I watch the animals, and if one duck gets scared or one chicken goes flapping off, cackling all over the place, the others all run. They don't know what they're afraid of. They may not know what startled that chicken, but their life depends on moving away from whatever scared that other animal, because it could have been a hawk, could have been a coyote, could have been an owl. And if you stand there going, what? You might be the next one underneath the talons of that hawk. So we're programmed to move away from fearful things. But the way we live now, we have to look at maybe looking at things a little different, because we're evolving, and the way we think, the way we live is evolving. So I think the universe, looking at this, is trying to direct us more towards being grounded, trying to stand our ground to a degree and look at what's scaring us, and look at where are our options, and what do I like and what do I not like. So let's take some of the nonsense. I mean, it's just utter nonsense. When I look at the United States and ourselves, the way the politicians are handling themselves, the way they speak to each other, the way they speak about each other, we in our hearts, as lowly little people, know that is wrong. And it's so rare lately to have a politician that has scruples, has compassion, has the self-discipline to not say something caustic or hurtful to make themselves look good. I think we need to gravitate towards people that do that. We need to be the inspiration for maybe our leaders. Our leaders should be our inspiration, but on a whole, they are not. On a whole, that's not everybody. But we have to maybe take issue with people that aren't handling themselves morally or compassionately or kindly, and hold them accountable, hold ourselves accountable for that type of behavior. And maybe we can override it by being inspirational, which is just do something nice. Call your neighbor and ask if they're doing okay. Do you need any help shoveling? The neighbors out here do it all the time, and I'm so fortunate to have such good people that we all live around each other. We care for each other, and it feels good to feel safe with your neighbors and your friends and your family. So I think we need to reach out more, especially the way the planets are evolving here, trying to get us to look outside of ourselves. As well, with the number 6, which came up when I was doing this. The number 6 is it doesn't come up as often as maybe we're used to, but number 6 in the tarot deck too gives us choices. It's the card of choice. And in life, we have to make choices. We have to make choices whether we like it or not. We have to make uncomfortable choices, scary choices. And sometimes we don't feel that we have all of the information to make a qualified or sensible choice. Now, I'm going to go way out in left field here, so forgive me. This is where I'm seeing we don't ask for help. Now, that doesn't mean to ask your neighbor's husband or wife for help, or necessarily to ask the handyman for help. I'm talking about our angels and our guides. There's a lot of unemployed angels out there that were sent here to help us, and we're not asking, and they can't help if we don't ask, and they can't give us the answers if we don't listen. And I'm guilty of the same thing. Sometimes I just get going and I forget to say, would you please jump in here and help me find the right tool to get the ice away from the gate? Would you please help me to understand how this works? Would you please help so-and-so to feel safe, to feel strong? And sometimes I feel nudged to call somebody or to do something that might be a little inconvenient for me. Not terrible, but a little inconvenient. And I may ignore that. And I was really hit last night while I was trying to think of our little time together here on the podcast with how sometimes myself, I won't listen because I don't want to. And how horrible that is, and how badly I feel, and how good I feel when I watch maybe a series like Saving Hope or New Amsterdam, or some series where people are kind to each other and good to each other, and override maybe if somebody is mean to somebody else, but they're still good to them anyway, and they don't take it personally. That's what we're supposed to practice with the number 6, with Aquarius and Pluto, with Aquarius in the sun sign. All of that needs our attention. And please, please, please don't forget to ask your angels, which are there to help you, your guides, which are there to mentor you and teach you and help you evolve, help us all. We all have it. We just don't always ask. And I think we're in a position now as a species that we need help. We really do. Even if it's something as simple as I know it's a north wind and I'm afraid my pipes are going to freeze. And when that occurs, then I may have to look at, what do I do? Can you give me an answer? And then all of a sudden what pops into my head is, have you looked for the heat tape? Or what about maybe putting some straw up against where the pipes are on the north side? Those thoughts didn't come to me. I don't think that way. But they came, so they came outside of me, not from me. They came outside of me. So I can ignore those thoughts. Oh, it's too much trouble to go get the straw and put it up against the pipes. It'll be fine. And then what happens? Your pipes freeze and you think, I knew that. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, you did. So I think we're being called to really listen to our guides and possibly from that perspective make our lives a little bit easier or a little bit more comfortable knowing that we have help, and not be afraid to ask, and not be afraid to be asked by our guides and our angels and friends and family, and be there to support and help and listen. So I think that's what is asked of us in this next little bit. So on that note, my friends, I'm going to leave this with you. I'm going to ask you a favor. What I'm going to ask is I'm going to post again Charlie O'Brien's link to GoFundMe, and he's been such a help for myself getting the podcast up. Not a help, he's doing it. He's not helping, he's doing it. Talk about an understatement. So that being said, he needs help too. And if you could help him, and that would help me get the podcasts out, that would be so amazing. I will put that link on Facebook again. And it's also his radio station, the Big 8 Radio. And it's running. If you want to listen to something great, listen to Charlie O'Brien for the Big 8 Radio. And if you can, just look at the link. Email me if you can't find it. I'd be happy to share it with you. And maybe we can keep him on air, and you can keep me on air as well, because I couldn't do it without him. There's no way. It just wouldn't happen. So again, that's an ask from me for a favor. And see who's asking, maybe without asking, around you that you can offer to help. Call somebody and make sure that they are digging out from the snow and the ice, and can you help them in any way? Is there anything that they're afraid of that you can help with or offer a talent that you have? So on that note, I leave you with it. See, like homework, who can you get to help? Who can you offer your talents to? How do you look at life, and what are you getting from it, and what are you giving to it? So again, thanks Charlie for Spotify podcast, for Apple iTunes, for Amazon Music, for SoundCloud, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks Charlie, and thanks to all of you for listening and taking your time with me. If you need a reading for yourself or your dog trained or understood, I'd be happy to help. 519-726-6699. You can call or text, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Stay warm, cuddle up with your fur babies in bed, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.